Hello, welcome to this video. So today, as you can see, I am in VR, and the reason is I got a loan from a friend of mine to try out a VR headset, primarily for X-Plane. So I decided to share my experience. So I can't obviously see my screen, but if you're seeing what I'm seeing, then we're currently in a hangar. We have Asia's World City aircraft here. It looks like a 747, along with 737 back there, and a few Cessnas over there. Um, and obviously, I am completely hands free, and I'm just using my head. So yeah, I figured I'd sort of document my experience. I've tried it out a little bit, but I haven't really done full flights or anything like that in it yet. I don't really plan on doing full A to B airliner flights just because of performance issues, but I do think that the VR will be great for VFR flights in particular, because of course in a sim it can be quite difficult to simulate VFR because it's not easy to just look at the ground like that. Anyway, so we don't need to worry about any of these because we will be using flight controls like yokes and throttles externally. However, if you didn't have a yoke or a throttle or anything and you only had the hand controls down here, which I'm not sure if you can actually see or not, but if you can, then these are the hand controls. And basically, the realistic yoke, the ergonomic yoke, basically what it means is the realistic yoke. Uh, if you're flying like a 747 in VR, you actually have to pull and push, and push the yoke instead of tilting it. And then ergonomic yoke is just tilting a yoke, just like a side stick. Anyway, we won't have to worry about that because I won't be using that much for the flying. So anyway, we can just press done, and then this screen here, it's literally just like your normal X-Plane screen. I'm using 12, but I will show a bit of 11 later on in the video if I remember. So we're just going to start off with a Cessna flight. Here we go. Now, also today is going to point out my terrible ability to fly a Cessna, but that's a different story for another day. Okay, that's fine. We want to go to the Waterford Aero Club hangar. We'll put it nice weather. We'll turn the engines off, and we will just have the weather completely clear, and we'll turn it to nice time, and we'll start the flight. So it'll bring us into this now sort of theater mode. But that's of course only for the loading screen. And then when we get in, I presume I've flown Cessna before, and I presume it's going to look quite similar to that, especially the 3D sort of aspect with the knobs and the switches and all that, and even the point of view. It's difficult to simulate a point of view perfectly. So I'm hoping. Um,
Pushback failure.
now,
Aircraft appears to not have any
yes, this
steerable
is
gears.
this is exactly what I was expecting. This looks brilliant. This does look good. Now I'm aware that on the video it might not look as good as it does here, but um, yeah, no, this is quite similar to how a Cessna actually looks from the eye. Of course, the graphics aren't that great in VR, and that's just because of the VR trying to put everything in between the graphics of the aircraft and the graphics of the outside world. So I presume it's going to prioritize the aircraft. But as you can see, the sort of field of view and point of view is much more human like than in the normal simulator. In the normal simulator, the field of view is a little bit down like that, when obviously a human is not going to be like that. And we can also look over here like that. We can get in nice and close to the controls. We can look behind us and have the seats behind us. And it really does feel like I'm in a Cessna. It's also quite shaky, which is actually a little bit realistic because it's never going to be completely smooth, is it? But it's also quite shaky just because of my my poor connection to my computer. Anyway, so we're going to take up our hands now. And as you can see, if you wanted to, and if you didn't have a yoke, now it's a little bit blocked by my desk, but you can use this, but I don't really feel the need To do that, we need to let go first. Okay, so let's take our other hand, our left hand, and start up the Cessna. Now, I am quite limited for space because down there at the because I'm hitting my yoke at the minute, and the master switch is obviously quite a bit away from that. But there is a laser there, so am I able to use that to then turn that on? No. Okay, that's not ideal. Okay, we'll just use the mouse in this case, just because I can't reach the master switch. But if you had a free desk space, unless it works with this one, no, it might just about missing it. But if you had free desk space, it'd be very good to. There we go. Now I can do it. I'm quite literally. I don't have a face camera, but I'm quite literally leaning right down below. So I'm just going to use the mouse instead of the hands for the minute. I can show a map on this. I need to reset the view. There we go. I can show a map on this iPad, which I'm going to try to do. There we go. So that's also quite realistic. And we can obviously lean in, and it doesn't look great on the headset. I don't know how it looks on the screen, but now there we go. That's what I wanted to do. And I'm going to leave that there. So that's actually very realistic because it'd often be an iPad there. Now I just need to reset the view, which is done. How I need to reset my. There we go. It is actually quite realistic because, of course, you would often have an iPad on the yoke. Okay, so we can turn on our avionics now. Now, I'm not following any procedures. I'm just sort of going as quick as I can just to get in the sky as quick as possible. So, if at all possible, could no Cessna enthusiasts comment on the video saying you did this step in 5.4 seconds, you're supposed to do it in 5.3 seconds. That'd be greatly appreciated. I also apologize for how sort of shaky the VR headset is. That's just simply because how much head movement your head actually does without a human knowing it. Right, so I'm really not following the procedures here, so we'll just get some lights on with the beacons on. I want to try using the hand controllers. I'm sorry, I realize I'm dragging quite a lot. It's just quite interesting to see. There we go, we can use this. So there's just quite a lot blocking my. There we go. So we can get the. Okay, I'm just gonna use the mouse. We can get the beacon lights on anyway. Where's the mouse? There it is. Beacon lights can go to on, and so can the nav lights. I'm not sure if turning nav lights on now is proper procedure. If at all possible, could you not come after me if it isn't proper procedure? I really don't care. Right, okay, so we'll go ahead and get the mixture rich and start the mags. Now that's interesting. Well, it's not interesting, it's just cool. Now we can just understood that, and that's cool. So I'll put my headphones in now so I can hear what's going on. I'm not actually sure what the story is with. Actually, let me take off my headset for 2 seconds, just to see how much desktop audio you're getting. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit just in case you're not getting much audio from me. And you can't really hear me that well. Anyway, I'm going to put my headphones in now so I can hear what's going on. Okay, get the parking brake off, and it's very interesting, cool, and also very handy to be able to just look out like this. Yeah, I have to say now, it really does feel like you're in a Cessna. Of course, the only downside is now I'm not even sure if this is a downside on the video because I'm not sure what the graphics will look like on the video, but I can tell you on the VR, a very clear thing that I'm noticing is the graphics are not that great on VR. I mean, I'm in default Waterford Airport, so by no means is it going to be fantastic. However, the graphics are usually better than this, not in VR. But then again, it takes a very, very powerful machine to run VR. My PC is definitely no NASA PC, but it's definitely powerful enough. So it does the job. Now, because we're coming out of the Aero Club, we need to do a backtrack. So just going to get some more lights on down here. We'll get our landing lights on. And I did not turn the taxi lights on, but we don't need them on now anyway. And the strobe's on. And we will do a power check. So it's difficult to read the numbers, but we need to turn the RPM into the green. It's grand, everything's in the green, everything looks good. And then we'll do the mag checks. Cool. Okay. So we can continue with the taxis. The lights are good. We need to drop some flaps. Go to flaps 10. Nothing coming. Nothing on the approach. Now, as I've said, now I'm not sure how well it's going to be picked up in the video, but on the headset, all the knobs really jump out at you. And I mean that in a good way. And I mean that because the knobs really do look very 3D. Like if I look here, they really do look 3D. Now, I'm not sure what that looked like on the video. I'll have to watch it back. But it really does feel like you're in a Cessna. And also, as I said before, the field of view, because the field of view in a normal X-plane looks like that. So, to have even just the nose of the aircraft out there is quite cool. Now, I wonder what the exterior view looks like. Oh, yeah. That's very cool. Oh, what have I done? Cool. Okay, we're back. That is cool, though. I can move over to the right-hand seat. Interesting. Well, there's our aircraft. Anyway, let's get back into the cockpit now, because it's not really virtual reality if I'm outside of the cockpit while we're taxiing. And the aircraft has no pilot. So we'll just speed up the backtrack here a little bit, just to save a little bit of time. Haven't set any Q&H's and like that, just because there's no need to, because it's going to be 1013 just because of the weather today that I've set. Now, going for the backtrack. Now, again, my ability to fly a Cessna, I'm not training in a Cessna. I'm training in a Savannah S. So, my experience of Cessna flying is quite limited. So, please do not come after me if it's not up to, if it's not simulator grade, or if it's not a one-to-one replication of flying a Cessna. Anyway, everything looks good for the takeoff. We will release the brakes and we'll move the stupid mouse out of the way. We won't actually need that, I don't think, now, because yeah, they can go up there. So all our passengers in the back are ready, so we can get the brakes off. Slowly increase the power. A little bit of right toe brake. Power full. Rudder, not toe brake. Airspeed alive. 50. 55 rotate. Now that's cool. Right rudder. How many times did you hear that in your last lesson? Right rudder. Right rudder needed. This is really cool. I have to say now, this is really cool. It really feels like you're flying a Cessna. Look down, there's the roads. Yeah, this is really cool. I have to say, like, it's much better than I expected. As I've said multiple times now, it really does feel like you're flying a Cessna. Um, there's a good bit of right rudder being needed now to keep us centered. Just coming up on 1,000 feet now. It's no real route and plan in mind. Like, it's not necessarily a circuit, but it can be a circuit if we need it to be. It's really interesting now to see, like, just because, like, in a normal sim, obviously you're using you're really using the mouse a lot of the time. You often have your hand on the mouse most of the time to look around. So it adds a new lease of simulation to and it just adds a whole other level of immersion to be able to just look to the right if I want to look to the right instead of like move my mouse or hit a knob on my yoke if I want to look to the right. Speaking of looking to the right, we are going to turn to the left. So it's clear. Everything's clear. Clear to the right. Start our turn. A little bit of right rudder. Yeah, this is really cool. Let's be careful not to get too high. Yeah, like really, this is much better experience than I thought it would be. I was sort of expecting it to be very artificial and fake. Now the only thing is, it's X-Plane, so it's not going to be fantastic outside graphics. But for what it is, it really isn't bad. I'm not sure what the frames are like, and I'm afraid to lift up my headset in case I lose this flight, because I know you might be able to see my frames at the minute in the top left, but I can't. Now we're not going to level off just yet. We're just coming up to 2,000 feet. We're gonna over there is Hook Head, so we're gonna sail in the direction of Hook Head. We'll give a bit of right rudder, keep us in the center. We might just level off here. Flaps are still out, which is not great. That's the one thing I've noticed about this already. I am forgetting to do some of the basic things, like throttle and flaps. That is one of the things I am noticing. Just because I'm so focused on flying the aircraft. I mean, as in, like, looking out at the horizon and stuff and sort of enjoying it all, that I'm forgetting to, like, look at the flaps and the throttle and the mixture and even the turn coordinator, and it's sort of like, because everything isn't just in front of you and it's a glance away. I actually need to move my head down and look at it, you know. So that is something that I'm noticing. It really it reminds you how much there actually is to do in flight, and it's not just glancing down on a screen. If you understand me. So we're just coming up to Hook Head here. We're just leveled off at about 2,300. We got some up trim coming up. I think it's definitely a good investment for VR. For VFR. Because just if your primary focus is VF4 in the sim, which I do a lot of VF4 in the sim, it really does add another level of immersion, because I'm able to look out now at Hook Lighthouse, which will be coming up here. I'm not sure if Hook Lighthouse is actually in the sim or not, but I'll just be able to look out at Hook Lighthouse now and see the and see it, instead of like having to move my mouse and do all this and sort of predict when I'm over Hook Lighthouse. So it'd especially be good for VATSIM VF4, because it's a simple look out to the right. Now I'm probably gonna dip the nose while I'm doing this because I can't actually see out. But if I look over there, it's really nice to see below us. And yeah, what did I say? Nose has been dipped. So we do need to climb just a little bit. So I'll just increase the throttle a little bit. I won't pitch up as much in a sense. I'll just increase the throttle. That's what my instructor taught me. To try not to pitch up as much in a sense when you're climbing. Instead, just now again, I train in a different aircraft to a Cessna. I train in a light, ultralight, micro light aircraft, Savannah S, which is a stall aircraft, short takeoff landing. So it's very, very light and very responsive, and it's different to the Cessna, where like in the Cessna I do this and like it's still very stable. In my aircraft, I'd be falling if I did that. And I'm just coming up to Hook Lighthouse now. We can't actually see the lighthouse on this, but this is Hook Head in County Wexford. So what I'll do is I'll turn up to the left on a Hook Head and go in towards Waterford City and fly over the little island near Waterford City and then maybe over Bell Lake. And I might do an overhead cross then above Waterford to then come back in for, I think it's 2-3, but I'm not 100% sure the runway markings in Waterford. Well, my plan was really to show a bunch of different aircraft in this video, but I'm actually really enjoying this VFR flight, so I might just keep this going. Yeah, so there's no sign of the actual lighthouse in this, which is a shame, but the lighthouse would be somewhere down there. And I've actually flown over Hook Lighthouse before in real life, in a Cessna. When I started my my first flight, actually, it was a voucher flight, and I did... it was the Cessna from Waterford, pretty much the exact same route that I'm doing now, actually. And it was a VFR flight in a Cessna, and we flew over Hook Lighthouse, and it was absolutely fantastic. And it was a beautiful sunny day like it is today, so we were able to see the lighthouse in all its glory and the tourists. And it was actually it's scary how sort of accurate this all is. Scary in a good way, obviously. So we'll just cut up to the left now shortly. I'm heading over there. I'll probably put an hour on it or something if I can figure out how to do that. I haven't made a video in ages. But everything looks good. Everything looks good. A turn coordinator looks good. Throttle is fine. Altitude is stable. And we don't really need the map because we're doing VFR. So, yeah, there's the foot of the Wicklow Mountains over there. Might do a flight over by the Wicklow Mountains this evening. Might film it. Could do a live stream. Although I'm not sure how badly that'll affect the frames. Doing a live stream because they're poor enough as it is. They're struggling enough as it is. I can actually look outside of the aircraft, which is a little bit odd, but I'm not complaining. And I'll try not to do that again because it really ruins the. I'd rather not lose my head. Okay, we'll reduce this HUD a little bit. We'll make a little turn up to the left. So it's clear to the left, clear to the right. We'll just keep the aircraft stable. It'd actually be good as well, this, for instructors, because they can sort of holds their students accountable for looking down at the instruments. Like, because there are times in the sim where you're just looking like this the entire time at the instruments, but this you're actually held accountable to look outside. Know what I mean? So that's Ballyhack in there and Duncannon. I think that's Duncannon. And you get a ferry across there. A very, very short ferry across there, and it's always fun. My last flight I did out of Waterford was in January before I swapped to the new school in Offaly. And it was always fun doing the... well, I say always fun. I only did it once, getting the ferry. But getting the ferry across the river and then to the lesson just added a little bit more fun to the whole day out of getting a lesson, because I don't know, you sort of like to make a day out of having your lessons, because why not? Why not? So obviously it's just me in the aircraft today. There's no one next to me. It would be interesting to do share cockpit in VR though. It would be very cool, I have to say. And the only thing is, because it's very easy to just press a button in the normal sim to see where the airport is, but this you actually have to look out for, and it is a little bit difficult to see places far away. I think I have the airport on site to my it's about my 10 o'clock, but I'm not 100% sure, and I think you could probably see it better than me on the screen, partly because I'm trying to fly the plane, but also because I think I just lifted up my headset there, and the graphics do look a little bit better on the video than they do in the VR headset, and that could just be due to the VR and not the sim itself. Just the VR's ability to portray graphics as powerful as flight sim. But I saw someone saying that this is the best version of Flight Sim, and I wouldn't disagree with them. I really wouldn't. It's really something to be able to properly look around in a simulator. So there's Bell Lake off to our left. I think that's Bell Lake off to our left. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut around here. There's an island here that I want to fly over. And that brings us down a centre line. And then we'll just cut off the centre line and we'll do a fly over Bell Lake. And that's when we'll start a descent for base and finals into Waterford. Just trying to see that island now. Is it Spike Island? I'm not 100% sure of the name. There it is off to our left. Now, I've flown over this in real life as well, and with my instructor, and it was interesting because there's castles and all around, and it's cool because I need to put in some water. It's cool because when a plane flies over, it's really easy to see the people sort of looking up and waving at the plane, and the little kids pointing at it, and it's really something to know that you're not the one on the ground, you're the one in the sky that they're pointing at. Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, I was genuinely about to say it's a fine day for it. You know, I do kind of forget that it's a simulator. But if this was a real life, it would be an absolutely fine day for it. No wind, nice warm day. No rain, no clouds at all, which is perfect for VR4. Although clouds can make it a little bit more fun. Not fun when you fly into them, obviously, because then you're breaking the law and you lose your license. But avoiding the clouds can be fun when you're not under pressure, which is not very often when you're flying a plane. There's Bell Lake off to our left. So what we'll do is we'll cut around this island now, run on the centre line, cut off the centre line onto there's the runway there as well, onto Bell Lake, do a quick fly over Bell Lake, and then join base finals for. Is it 2-3? No, it wouldn't be 2-3. Is it 3-3? I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. Okay, we're actually descending a bit already, so we'll just level off a little bit. We need to push forward a little bit. There we go. See, as I say, it's interesting. Like when we looked off to the left, I really do sort of lose control of the whole aircraft a little bit. Not lose control, but it just I do notice the aircraft dipping a little bit, like in real life. When you switch off for 2 seconds, you really do start to sort of lose it a little bit. Yeah, so we'll just fly off to the right a little bit here, just so we can join a good centre line with this island. So that sort of big foresty place that you're seeing there, to me it looks like a forest. That's Waterford City. And in real life now, you'd be seeing things like the RSC, the Regional Sports Centre, which is where Waterford Football Club play their games. It's a nice big blue stadium. You'd also be seeing a good few shopping centres. The Range would be in the vicinity, which is a big shopping centre. And you would also be seeing, what else would you see? Big Super Value. You'd probably see, I'm not sure what Waterford GAA Stadium is called, but you'd see that as well. Now, I have the runway in sight, but we're not going to start descending yet because we do want to do a flyover Bell Lake. Although, do we? Do we want to do a flyover Bell Lake? No, it's quite out of the way, so we might just go straight down for the landing. I'm not sure what that I'm seeing there. If I'm able to figure out how to do it in editing, I will circle what I'm seeing. Or I can just put my mouse over it. If I can find my mouse, that is. There. Not sure what I'm seeing there, but it doesn't really matter because I need to focus on landing this plane. So, here we are, overhead the island. There's a golf course. Now, by the way I explained it, portraying this, the entire island is a golf course. Whether that's true or not, I cannot confirm nor deny. Wow. That's really special. Looking down and seeing that. That's really something. Also reminds you how big, it's going to sound weird, but how big the Earth is. Like, I just did that big spin, and it took, I'd say, nearly 15-20 minutes. That looks more like a suburban American neighborhood, but we'll let that slide. Yeah, I do have a lot of plans now to make more videos about this. I'll probably make another video now in airliners and jets. I just didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy this VR for a flight. I figured it would just be like showing you the ropes of VR, doing a quick takeoff, maybe a quick landing, and then finishing. But I didn't realize I'd do an actual full route, you know. But alas, here we are. We'll drop some flaps. And we'll trim the aircraft up. Trim up for landing. We'll reduce the throttle a little bit. Now remember, I have never ever. I've approached in a Cessna, but I've never landed a Cessna in real life. So please, no Cessna addicts coming at me. What I will say is that because of the 3D nature, the approach is much more realistic because it's much more of a sloped view with the VR on than the sort of just pitching view with the VR off and just looking at the monitor. A few more flaps. We got 2 whites, 2 reds. They don't actually exist in water for the puppies, I don't think. But it's all part of it. We'll just correct that there. Put a set of flaps to full. So to see what I mean a little bit, you might not be able to picture it on the video, but I see what I mean. It's sort of like a very much more of a down movement. It's difficult to explain. If you watch a video of a landing in real life, you might understand what I'm trying to say. The runway just looks more elongated, and it looks much more like I'm actually approaching a runway. And the runway's getting bigger and wider as I approach it. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense really, but I know what I'm trying to say. Then we come. Runway off to our airport off to our left, forest off to our right. I don't think that's there in real life, but I could be wrong. I wasn't really looking out to the right and left when I was landing in real life. Now 2 whites, 2 reds, that's perfect. We don't really need to be in the landing zone for a Cessna as long as we're not outside of it, which you might actually be, but it doesn't really matter. Now, as I'll say again, the runway is much wider in VR, which is cool. Okay, here we go. We're a little bit fast. And we're definitely out of the touchdown zone, but it doesn't matter. And we're off centerline, but it doesn't matter. And we're down. Oh, now what I will say is that we touched down much earlier than I think we do in VR. Beautiful. We're down. Welcome back to Waterford. Now, raise our flaps and taxi back into the Aero Club. But yeah, no, that was really fun. Much more fun than I expected it to be. I'm not sure how long I was flying for. I'd say about 20 or so minutes, but it could have been an hour. For all I know, I don't know. All I know is that it was good fun. And so would I recommend the VR? If I explain, I'll say, well, I've only done the one full flight like that, and it's not even an A to B; it's an A to A VR4 flight. So, what I'd say is do what I'm doing and try it. Ask a friend who has one and try it. I still don't know if I'm going to get one yet, but what I do know is that was really good fun. So, I haven't had a bad experience yet. Getting it set up can be a bit of a pain in the hole, but to get that down, it's okay. Now, this is always a difficult taxi because of how narrow the taxiway is. We're good there. I need to lean over and see. Yeah, we're good there. That's fine. See, that's one of the handy things as well. I can just lean over and see if we're good there and good here, which we are. There's our wheel. Welcome back to the Aero Club. Still have all our lights on, couldn't care less. So yeah, really did feel like I was flying a Cessna. And I'll say I'll be quite dizzy now when I take off my headset. Okay, set the parking brake. I'm not sure which one is V. What have I done? There we go. There we go. There's the parking brake set. Okay, we will undo the mixture. I think I can do that with my hands, can I? I can. Take out the mixture. Now it's back to the mouse. Mags can come out. The lights can all go off. If I can get them off, that is. If I can make it. Okay, the lights are fine. We're leaving the lights on. And we can just turn the avionics off and the masters off, and the lights can stay on, as I said. If I can bloody press the thing, there we go. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. We are done. Cool. Well, I won't make any recommendation whether you should get this or not, because I don't have enough experience in it. But what I will say is that's really cool. There's a proper dashboard here that I can put my head through. Cool. Okay, well, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in about a year's time when I make another video. Bye-bye.